SEC softball presented by Regions Bank. It's perfect Sunday afternoon for Game 3 of this opening weekend in conference play for the number 3 Texas Longhorns, the defending national champs, and number 24 South Carolina. Well, the champs have looked the part. Tegan Cavan, complete game 4-2 win on Friday, and then Citlali Gutierrez followed it up with a 6-inning shutout and a 3-0 win, as the Horns have now won 19 in a row. Hi again, everybody. Welcome to Columbia alongside 2009 national champ Danielle Laurie. I'm Clay Matvick. Great to have you with us. I mean, it's a long way to May, but opening weekend seems to carry a lot of weight.
Well, when you think about Texas, like, you want to drop the hammer, you want to win a series, you want to get the sweep. But I think on the flip side, for South Carolina, the importance of being able to snag a win from a number 3 seed gives them some momentum, but they're up against some tough pitching. And that's, I feel like, what we've seen from Texas is just they've continued to carry over the momentum that they had from last year and then into this season. Tegan Cavan, I mean, she is their ace. She is their go-to woman in big moments. She exposed some swings Friday night, and then she passed the torch to Gutierrez on Saturday. And what I love about Gutierrez is just her ability to be able to change speeds, but continuing to pepper and hammer the upper part of the zone she had some success with, and she just continued to set the tone. Texas scored late. There was opportunities for both of these teams, but it came down to Gutierrez and continuing to keep rolling.
Well, the Gamecocks were kept off the board yesterday. Just 10 total hits and 2 runs in the entire series. We'll see if they can get it going here today. And we talked to head coach Ashley Woodard about the Gamecocks' morale, and she says despite the 2 losses here in the first 2 games, it's very high, and they feel like they have played well. They've just been off a tick. We'll see if they can rectify that here in Game 3. Emma Friedel is going to get the start, and she might have the best stuff on this Gamecock staff. 5-2 with a 3.21 ERA.
Well, and that's what Coach Chastain Woodard said. At times, she kind of rides the waves, right? There's opportunities where she's been out and she's thrown really well, and then other times where she's struggled a little bit. Listen, Game 3, go out, let's see where you're at. And I think it's a good opportunity for her today to go up against a top offense. We know if you want to continue to get better, these are the types of hitters that you have to face.
Kaden Henry will lead it off again for the Texas Longhorns. Leanne Good has had a tremendous series, and she's riding a 7-game hitting streak, batting in the 2 spot. Kaya Altmaier, Reese Atwood, Katie Stewart's been good. Viviana Martinez, Hannah Wells is going to be the designated player. J.C. Nichols and Ashton Maloney. So here we go, as Texas comes to the plate for the first time. Also just 10 hits in the first 2 games, but their hitting has been a little bit more timely, Daniel.
Well, and when there's been a small opportunity for them to do something, they have. I mean, obviously Game 1, Katie Stewart had that big 2-run home run. That was clutch. Leanne Good yesterday, when there was a little bit of a defensive miscue for South Carolina, she found a way to step up, hit that ball to right field, and that was kind of all the insurance runs that Texas needed for how well they were throwing in the circle.
First pitch outside, and the second pitch is buried. Home plate umpire is Donald Brown. Kaden Henry, as you saw, hitting over 400. They have 5 players batting over 400 in this Longhorns lineup. Infield creeping in on the corners here against the leadoff hitter, and she indeed shows bunt and goes right through it. Strike 2, 1-2 the count. Kaden Henry, an electric center fielder. If she does get it down, she has the speed to beat anything out. Rocking and firing, Friedel, the 1-2 popped up down the line, left field, and not enough there for Lelio to get to it. Didn't hang long enough, and there is some wind blowing in from right center field. That's going to be problematic today for these outfielders.
And I mean, this is the pitcher's ballpark. Tough to get it out of this stadium.
Again, the 1-2. That one's down. 2-2 the count to Henry, who came into the series 14 for 14 on stolen bases, leading the SEC. But she was thrown out yesterday. First time all year.
Was she? Because when I went back and watched, the view was blocked. It was her only. I mean, she was 14 for 14 in stolen bases.
Hit in the air. Again, the wind a bit of a factor. But ranging to her right, Tori Ensley, she'll put it away for the first out. So Caden Henry is retired. And that's one thing that South Carolina has been doing well this weekend. That's getting the first out of innings.
I mean, that was Coach Chastain Woodard mentioned it pregame. That's one of the things she's been the most proud of, 13 of 14 lead outs. But that's what kind of stops momentum. And when you're able to kind of drop that hammer as a pitcher and set the tone by getting the lead out, it gets your defense on point. You're ready to go. And I think it just kind of sometimes eliminates any big innings. And if you look at the last two games, I think that really has been a factor. Texas hasn't really gone off and scored. It had like a big multi-run inning. So those lead outs are important.
Second baseman Leanne Good hitting .480 on the year, 2 for 7 in the series. Had an RBI double in the 6th inning yesterday, and that broke the scoreless tie, proved to be the game-winning hit. Ball and a strike to Good. This is inside, 2-1 the count. Leanne Good, of course, had that great postseason last year. Her 3-run homer in Game 3 against Texas Tech proved to be the series clinching hit that gave Texas their first national championship.
Well, and I think, too, like, the moments that lead up to a World Series, like you think about that Clemson Super Regional and how iconic that was, right? Like, I mean, she was 7 for 11 in that Super Regional. Like, those are the things that kind of set you up going into the World Series with that success. I mean, she's been clutch. To me, she is one of the most strong in the lineup. I mean, I'm never going to discredit Katie Stewart or Reese Atwood, but when I just think about in moments where people have been able to step up, you look at yesterday, a perfect opportunity. She was able to hit that ball over the right fielder's head, score that run. She just kind of feels the moment a little differently sometimes.
Payoff pitch, the 3-2. Just missed off the plate. That was close. And so Leanne Good coaxes a walk here to start Texas with their first base runner of the game.
I mean, the one thing that I feel like I will say that I've seen over the weekend is micro strike zones. It definitely seems a little bit harder at times to be a pitcher. Maybe that ball was a little bit down, but.
So base runner here for Kaya Altmaier, the left fielder. 2 for 4 in the series, hitting .475 on the campaign. Now you're gonna have to keep an eye on Leanne Good. She can also move. We'll see how aggressive Texas is here in the first inning against Emma Friedel. Altmaier out of San Diego, California, has won a starting spot in left field this year. He picked her up out of the transfer portal from Arizona. Check swing, didn't mean to. Could be 2 to second for 1, and that's all they're going to get. Shea Anderson with a slow roller flips it to Shelton covering at second. And there are 2 down for Reese Atwood.
I'm trying to turn two here, excuse me, but Altmaier has a ton of speed up the line. But I think the one thing that is so important, especially going into a Game 3, is like the defense has to be able to show up, right? Especially when both these two teams aren't throwing their ace out there right out of the gate. Defense has to be able to make the routine plays and come up and kind of make those great plays in moments of pressure.
Reese Atwood, .439. 9 homers and 33 driven in, returning All-American. He's had a quiet series, 0 for 6 with 3 strikeouts so far. And she is the Longhorns' career home run leader, 64 and counting. What a career she has had. Top of the first, Texas with a base runner, 2 down. Friedel delivers, and that one's fouled back. Emma Friedel last year was the ace at Kennesaw State. Led the Owls in every pitching category. South Carolina really happy to get her on this staff.
Well, and I think, too, I mean, we all know this game is a game where you need multiple arms, right? It's tough to rely on 1 or 2 arms to get you through a whole season. It's more of a chess match.
Swung out and missed, and Friedel works around the walk to Good and gets out of the top of the first unscathed. So Texas sends 4 to the plate, but nothing to show for it. Back here at Carolina Stadium, Texas goes quietly in the top of the first, and now South Carolina coming up for the first time to face Hannah Wells. Two-way player, good power at the plate, also a terrific freshman right-hand arm.
Yeah, and I think on day 3, when you're able to kind of put a freshman out there and give her kind of those good innings of SEC experience, it's awesome. So she had originally started this game as a DP. They had moved her to where she's able to go out there and pitch, which is awesome. But good arsenal of pitches. She can move the ball around a lot. She can climb the ladder. She can go down. Has that changeup as well. And I think the importance is to be able to go out and kind of establish strike zone. Like, what am I going to be able to get away with?
There's the South Carolina batting order. They were shut out yesterday for the first time all season. You see 5 through 9 in the order has really struggled in the first 2 games. Hoping to change that here today, right away in the first inning against Wells, as Quincy Lilio will lead it off. Lilio had 2 of the Gamecocks' 6 hits on Friday. South Carolina actually out-hit Texas 6-5 in game 1. She had 1 of the Gamecocks' 4 hits yesterday. She was 1 for 3. And she looks at strike 1. South Carolina hitting .337 as a team, 24 homers. Not bad offensively, but when you compare the numbers to Texas, it really doesn't stack up.
You know what they say, Clay. Comparison is the thief of joy. Can't do that. I mean, at the end of the day, too, it's like every team's strength is a little bit differently with what they bring to the table, right? And Coach Chastain Woodard had mentioned about this South Carolina team, like it's a team that is by far the fastest that they've had.
This is swung on, soft liner coming on the center fielder, Caden Henry, and she'll get there for the first out. Good start for Hannah Wells.
And I think the important piece for the South Carolina team, the top of the lineup is something that stands out to me. Like when you think of Lilio and Shelton and Ariana Rhodey, like these are the types of players in day 3 where you're down 2 in a series, you want to be able to like set the tone and get your team going. So like I really circle these top 4 hitters as the athletes that have to step up big and do some damage today.
Well, this is Shelton, and she certainly can do it. Carly Shelton, .416 on the year. 3 for 7 in the series. As the Gamecocks go with back-to-back lefties here at the top of the order, and this is smashed to left and gets down in front of Altmaier for the first base hit of the day for either team. It comes from Carly Shelton, base runner with 1 out.
When I think of Carly Shelton, like to me, she is just a dog. She loves this game so much. She works hard. She sets the tone. She holds people accountable. And I think she's someone all year that is going to just wear that captain C proudly and be able to be someone in moments where they need that extra voice, that extra push, that little bit of like gritty toughness. She's someone that I think about that is big on that.
Well, she just extended her hitting streak to 8. As Ariana Rhodey is up there. Rhodey, the first baseman, a senior, team leader in homers and walks. She is 0 for 6 so far this weekend with 3 strikeouts. Changeup. And out in front of it was Rhodey. A week ago today, Rhodey hit her 50th career homer, which ranks 6th in the country among active players in career homers. She has had a terrific career, first at Charlotte, now here at South Carolina.
And back-to-back pitches, 58 and then 59 miles an hour to get back in the count. Puts it to 2-2.
2-2 pitch. That's up and outside. 3-2. Hannah Wells, high school All-American of Coahoma High School in West Texas, on the big stage now with the defending national champions. And you can see Mike White has a lot of trust in her, starting her here in game 3. Took something off of it. Could be two. Second for one. Double play. Nichols to good to Stewart. And Texas gets some good defense to get out of the inning.
I mean, this to me is huge. Freshman in the circle to be able to step up with a little 5-4-3, getting the momentum going for Texas.
Florida in 2015 to win the Women's College World Series, and they did it in year one. Quite an accomplishment for Mike White and his staff, now in his 8th season leading the Longhorns. No surprise, they are the preseason favorites to win the league again this year. First meeting between these two as SEC foes. Texas went quietly in the top of the first, now facing Emma Friedel here in the second. It'll be Katie Stewart, Viviana Martinez, and Hannah Wells. Talking to Mike in the dugout before the game. Always fun to talk to the Kiwi.
I feel like he's loosened up over the years, too. I feel like he'll just kind of give you a little bit more, a little bit more.
There's a team that is riding high. Going for the sweep today and win number 20 in a row. Katie Stewart hitting .500 on the year. And she is way ahead in the count here, 3-0. Stewart 0 for 2 yesterday, but went 3 for 3 with 3 runs batted in on Friday, including a 2-run homer off of Jory Hurd. So far, the only home run this weekend for either team. Had the green light on 3-0.
I love it. Let's go. And listen, I think, like, obviously you look at her year last year, incredible for the numbers. I mean, 17 home runs, 80 RBIs. She's continuing that. But I also think that takes some pressure sometimes off Reese Atwood to always have to be the one to take the daddy hacks and step up in big moments. I think Katie Stewart is someone that's just continued to mature. And I know her and Reese Atwood have that healthy banter, that just competitiveness against each other, because they both are kind of the Bash sisters. You think of a couple different teams. You can say the same thing for UCLA and Jordan Mulry, Megan Grant. You kind of have those duos that work together.
Took something off on the 3-2 and froze Stewart. Back-to-back strikeouts for Friedel going back to last inning.
This is clutch. She has the green light 3-0, swings, and then works her way back in. Friedel with the 3-2 freeze piece. That's clutch. And I will say, listen, you can see the frustration on Katie Stewart. That's a pitch that wasn't called the inning previously, with it maybe being a little bit low. I don't think it was low, but it's a great job for the junior in the circle to be able to kind of get back in, knowing the importance of lead outs.
And now Viviana Martinez 0 for 3 in the series. Great to see the redshirt junior shortstop back on the field after missing all of 2025 with a knee injury, and that had to be a hard season to miss, watching your teammates go after a national championship and reach the pinnacle, and all she could do was be a cheerleader.
Yeah, it's almost like she's back to her old self. You can't even tell that she had went through an injury. I just think the leadership in moments like that, instead of saying poor me, which you probably take your time to get over that piece, but to be able to be the best version of yourself for your teammates, and then for them to win a national championship and you be in the forefront of like leading those cheers, getting them going, having their back. This is a testament to the young lady she is, because that is really hard to do. Getting injured in this game is hard. Having to face the adversity that comes your way with rehab and treatment, and on top of that, your team is rolling and winning, and it's a proud moment. Her parents must be proud for sure.
2-2 to Martinez. This is hit well. Deep right center field, and it's off the wall. Martinez sliding into second with a double. Against the wind, maybe gets out of here on a less windy day, but she crushes it off the wall in right center.
Well, a really pretty swing, right? This is a pitch. It's moving down in the zone, but it's moving down over the heart of the plate, and Vivi Martinez just absolutely crushes it. And you're right, maybe not as much wind. Does that ball get out of here? This is definitely a pitcher's park, but solid at bat and an opportunity here to score first for Texas.
And Hannah Wells, the player who can do it. A lot of power for the two-way player. 4 home runs on the year for Wells, has 14 driven in. Did not play on Friday, was 1 for 3 with a couple of runs batted in as the DP yesterday. Got to start in the circle this afternoon.
Well, and a fun fact, too, about Hannah Wells, she's Gatorade National Player of the Year as a senior. And the only other Longhorn to earn that was my girl, Kat Osterman.
How about it?
So, not a bad woman to be compared to and win that award.
2-0 pitch to Wells. And that off-speed pitch misses down. So another 3-0 count here for Emma Friedel. And, you know, she's kind of tiptoed around trouble here in this inning. Has gotten down in counts, but has so far been able to work around it. Now 3-0 to Wells.
And that's kind of the one thing, too, as a pitcher, you learn really quick. If I'm constantly falling behind in counts, I'm doing myself a disservice because I'm not going to be in the game long, right? Like, especially when you're circling back to the top of the lineup again, with this being 7, 8, 9, like the importance of finding pitches that I can get ahead with, especially after I give up a double. Like, my job as a pitcher, can I go attack the strike zone and find a way to get back in? And you've seen her do it against Katie Stewart. Strikeout, awesome. She's doing the same thing here with Hannah Wells, but we can eliminate some pitches, right? Some unnecessary pitches that we don't need to throw. You want to find ways to do that.
She's clawed back to fill out the count. Martinez at second with 1 out. And good discipline at the plate. Wells draws the walk. Now back-to-back base runners here for Texas with 1 out, and it'll bring up J.C. Nichols. Friedel has fallen behind all but 1 hitter that she has faced the first 7 through the order.
And I like the importance of being able to come out and pitching coach Zach Parsons just to connect a little bit. And I think at times, like, being held accountable in situations of saying that, like, hey, you're kind of really falling behind here. Like, the leash is going to be a little bit smaller. You have to find ways to attack these hitters. Like, what pitch do you feel comfortable? We know pitches are being called from the dugout, right? So at the end of the day, I think being able to connect with those pitchers and what are you wanting to throw for strikes here, and putting it more on them of, in moments when you need to be able to step up, you got to hold yourself to that higher standard too.
Zach Parsons, in her second year as pitching coach, came from Murray State. Ashley Woodard, the head coach, actually calls the game from the dugout. And, you know, we're not seeing the ace of the staff, Jory Hurd, start this game. And Neely Lamb, probably their number 2 arm. You know, we've seen her in both games of the series as well. But they started Friedel, and she's up against it here in the second inning with 2 on and just 1 out. This is J.C. Nichols now, the third baseman, 0 for 5 in the series.
And I think sometimes, too, like, the last day of a series can be a little bit more pitch by committee sometimes, too, right? Like, it's the third time that you're facing a tough offense. Like, maybe a pitcher gets 1 time through the order. How do they do? Assess the situation. But I know the plan was to bring in Lamb.
Popped up, going to be a tough play out behind short. Coming in is Lilio, making the catch, and doubled off of second base is Martinez. A double play bails out Friedel and the Gamecocks here in the second inning.
Well, and this is the momentum that the Gamecocks need to use. I thought for a second Bermuda Triangle. Lilio steps up with the quick little shift. Double play.
A year to remember. An amazing season for this program. 44 wins. Hosted both the regionals and the supers for the first time. They were 1 out away from the Women's College World Series. Scored a ton of runs. Ariana Rhodey, 17 homers, the most in program history in a single season. And trying to build off that. Certainly a lot of momentum felt around Columbia, South Carolina, around this program coming into this year. Can they carry it on?
Well, and I think, too, it's like, how do you get a team of 14 new faces to vibe and want to carry over kind of that momentum of last year? And you have some good, you know, upperclassmen that are able to pass that on. But I think that piece.
Hit sharply to second. Leanne Good gobbles it up. And Tori Ensley, the transfer from NC State, is a quick out. Ensley, one of the players, is a new face, but certainly a veteran presence that Ashley Woodard was excited to bring in this offseason.
Well, and Coach Chastain Woodard talked about, like, at the Supers, they were talking to kids in the transfer portal, understanding that that's kind of where this game is at. Like, you need to start planning ahead for who you're losing, who's coming in. You're dealing with that piece and visits, and then almost to the place of, like, you're mourning losing in the Supers. And she went on vacation with her husband, and actually that's when Tate Davis had called her and said, like, hey, like, I want to be a Gamecock. This is where I want to be. And she said she actually got kind of emotional about it, because you mourn a season, especially when it doesn't go your way, and how close they were against UCLA. Like, and I was here calling that game for the Supers, and, like, I felt it in my chest for them, just the emotional roller coaster that weekend was. But she was just proud to be able to, like, get these new kind of faces in, get them going, get them on the same page. But Tate Davis definitely was someone that called and let her know right away, like, I want to come home, essentially, is what she said.
That's downstairs. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Davis, who appeared in just 15 games last year for Ole Miss. She's from Greer, South Carolina. No doubt, yeah, feels more comfortable in these surroundings. Chased it upstairs. That was a good off-speed pitch by Hannah Wells for her first strikeout. 2 up, 2 down here in the second.
Well, and it's almost like an off-speed kind of rise that she's throwing up in the zone. You can tell it's definitely off-speed just based on the swing. Sometimes as a hitter, just have to tip your cap.
So 3 in a row put out here by Hannah Wells. Got help from a double play to get out of the first. Carly Shelton had a hit in the first inning, but Wells faced the minimum. Now here's Hovermail. Alyssa Hovermail hitting .370 with a homer and 8 runs batted in. 1 for 2 with an RBI in the series as the starting DP in the first 2 games. That's her position here today. That's inside. 2-0. Hovermail, a transfer from Florida. Spent a couple of years with the Gators, but missed all but 2 games last year to season-ending injury. Tried to hold up, went around 2-1. And now the counter's even as Hannah Wells has really good command of that off-speed pitcher early on.
I mean, at times that's kind of the difference maker, right? Being able to command that off speed, throw it when you need to, especially behind in counts.
Oh, now that one hit her. That one rode in and hit Hovermail on the right foot. And it looks like she's going to be all right. She's going to jog down to first. So a base runner here with 2 outs in the second inning.
Just kind of like tips the ankle bone.
Yep.
But I need, like, South Carolina to get excited, right? Like, if I'm trying to fight to get in this ball game, and the little things have to make the difference, because we can't always expect the long ball or someone to just be able to go yard. It's like, how can we create momentum and havoc? And I don't know, I notice at times that piece. I just think, like, being able to get rallied up in the dugout and not necessarily needing to just cheer like crazy, but I just need a little bit more.
Need something. Shea Anderson, sophomore, in the lineup for her defense at shortstop, but has been a little bit of a pleasant surprise at the plate, hitting .283 with 3 homers and 9 runs batted in coming into this game here today. She has 3 homers in the last 10 games, and I don't think that Ashley Woodard expected that from her shortstop here.
Well, I think, too, the memo to her coming into the season was like, we want you to hit and do well, but, like, defensively, that's the priority. We need you. You are going to be a rock for us.
Another off-speed pitch, and Wells gets a strikeout, 2 in the inning. And we have played 2 here in Columbia. No score.
Well, it kind of seems like a little bit of deja vu of the last couple games. We're seeing the pitchers over the course of the couple innings doing damage.
Florida hitting the ball out of the ballpark yesterday to get that 5-4 win. Tennessee still unbeaten and ranked #1 in the country after the 3rd best start in program history.
Yeah, I mean, it's the only 10 I see, and I don't know if Pickens is back and if she's fully healthy. Obviously, you know, in the midweek game against Belmont, she went down and had to leave the game, which is, you know, a little concerning. Not to say that Aaron Newer and Sage Marjetko can't get the job done in the circle, but if you don't have the hammer, that part heading into SEC play can be a little bit scary if you're Tennessee. So it'll be interesting to see the health of Carlin Pickens.
Swung on and missed. Ashton Maloney at the plate here for Texas in a scoreless ball game. Each team with 1 hit. As we start the 3rd inning, Maloney in the 9 spot. It'll be Henry and Good 1 and 2 to follow. Emma Friedel has danced around trouble the first 2 innings. Good off-speed pitch there.
Well, and Ashton Maloney had the conversation with Coach Mike White about moving herself down in the order. She essentially was kind of up top the first couple weekends, like struggling, felt like putting a lot of pressure on herself, letting her teammates down. And since I think she's moved to the 9 spot, she's taken that pressure off herself a little bit. I like the table setter at the bottom. You tend to at times see more speed in that 9 spot, someone that can be that triple threat, can drop that bunt and turn the lineup over quickly. But I can respect the fact that she had that conversation and said, would you mind moving me down? You know, not a lot of people want to have those conversations.
The 1-2. And this is going to get over the screen. No doubt Maloney knows her way around the 40 acres in Austin. She's played in well over 200 career games in this uniform, including all 68 last year. Hit a career best 415 to a quiet start this year, hitting 267, 0 for 6 in the series. Looks at that one away, 2-2. Texas returned about 70% of the offensive production from last year's national title team. Maloney among them. 2-2 from Friedel. And dumping it into left field is Maloney. Good piece of hitting from the number 9 spot. Just kind of placed it out into left field. And that is the 2nd hit for Texas. And this is just the start of the battle today between Texas and South Carolina. It's going to carry over into the women's basketball championship later this afternoon on ESPN, and that should be good.
Yeah, that'll be exciting. But what an at-bat by Ashton Maloney. That's what I said. Her in that 9 spot. She sees a lot of pitches. She just creates that pressure on the defense, makes the pitcher work.
Now Caden Henry trying to advance the runner. Henry flew out to center her first time up. She is 0 for 1. All SEC 2nd team last year. Just a great hitter at the top of the order. That pitch is outside, and you said something to me between innings. You think that Friedel is likely on a short leash here if Texas starts to poke the bear again?
I would have her on a short leash, knowing that you have Neely Lamb as well as Jory Hurd to potentially come the game. With runs being hard to score.
Hit well to center. Backing off is Ensley, and that is gone. Goodbye. Home run, Caden Henry. 2-run shot to straightaway center. 3rd home run of the year. And Texas goes out in front here in the 3rd, 2-0.
Well, and that's the momentum of the 9 spot, too, with Ashton Maloney seeing a lot of pitches and then passing the bat up top to Caden Henry. Just this goes to show how much she really got of this, and just like that bat speed through the zone, because this got out of here in a heartbeat in a pitcher's ballpark, too. Dead center. Wow.
And she hit that down low enough. It was a low enough of a trajectory where the wind was not going to be a factor, and it probably wouldn't have been anyway. She hit it right on the screws, and it's 2-0 now.
Little elevate and celebrate. And it's those two, right? Like, I know I sound like I'm beating a dead horse here, but the at-bat by Ashton Maloney, scrappy, fouling pitches off, like putting that extra pressure on Friedel, getting on base, now puts the top of the lineup in this momentum of like, hey, all right, our 9 spot just saw some good pitches. Now it's our turn. Now it's our inning to score. And you just kind of start to slowly pour it on, and that's what you saw.
Nobody out for Leanne Good, who walked against Friedel back in the first inning. Carolina Softball Stadium, notorious as a pitcher-friendly park. Last year, the park allowed the fewest homers in SEC play, less than 1 per game. And, you know, Texas hasn't hit a ton this weekend. That's just the second of the series. South Carolina doesn't have any, but it's hard to get it out of this ballpark. The wind prevails from center and right center field, right into your face.
I wouldn't have minded throwing in this ballpark.
I'll bet you would.
It's a pitcher's friend.
Floats outside, 3-0 here as Leanne Good. Let's see if she has the green light. And Friedel nails the corner there. 3-1 the count. Friedel's had a walk in each of the first 2 innings, worked around the trouble. And there's another walk. That's the 3rd walk allowed by Friedel, and she is continuing to dance around these trouble spots in this Texas lineup. Well, don't forget about men's basketball in the SEC tournament beginning Wednesday, 12:30 Eastern at Bridgestone Arena in Nashville. First and second round games, as well as late quarterfinal matchups. First round coverage begins at noon Eastern with the SEC Now crew. Hope you can join us. No surprise that Ashley Woodard makes a change here. You were kind of alluding to it earlier.
Well, and I think, too, it's like with Friedel, it's a fine line between giving her long enough leash to get experience and see where she's at, but also respecting the fact that, like, you want to make sure you stay in the ball game and give yourself a fighting chance. So I like this pitching change. I think it's important to bring someone else in.
And it'll be Neely Lamb. We're going to talk about Neely when we come back. We step aside here in Columbia, 2-0 Texas. Emma Friedel failed to retire 5 of the last 6 Longhorns she faced, so Neely Lamb will come in for her. Started game 1 of the series, left after 2 1/3, and came in for Hurd in the 7th yesterday. Gave up a 2 RBI hit to Hannah Wells, which made it 3-0. That was also the final score, but Neely Lamb certainly has good stuff.
Well, and that was probably going to be the game plan today with Friedel, and then bringing in Lamb, and then having Jory Hurd in the pen to potentially bring in late in the game.
Swinging here, Altmaier lops it into left field, and a good job by Lamb to get Altmaier on 1 pitch. Lamb in this series, 3 innings, 4 runs, 4 walks, which has been the bugaboo. 1 strikeout.
We've had some tight zones too. I feel like sometimes it's important to put that out there. I'm not saying that pitchers shouldn't adjust, because I know that they have to, but on both sides, you could say the same thing for Texas. There's been some uncharacteristic walks. I know game 1, both pitchers walked in a run, bases loaded. So, but it's not going to help you by any means if you are giving up that free pass.
Reese Atwood struck out swinging against Friedel in the first inning, 0 for 1. And 0 for 7 in the series, but this is a player that seems ready to break out at any moment.
Well, and something to think about too, like majority of where she's struggled a little bit has been in the outer part of the zone as well as kind of up. You're not seeing hitters or pitchers tend to go as much into her hot spot. Like when I think of Reese Atwood and her power, like I think of her being able to turn on a pitch like no other, and just her ability to be able to get to the inside part of the plate with such fast hands. So if I were to be pitching, there's a good chance that I'm going to just kind of stick with something on the outside part of the plate. If I go in, I'm probably going to go in with a change.
Hit to short and under the glove of Anderson. Stopping at second base is good. And that's going to be an error on the South Carolina shortstop.
Well, this is another 3-0 daddy hack, too. And this is an absolute hot shot, definitely off the bat. But I'm with you, Clay. I mean, we know defensively got to be able to glove up those types of plays, but I won't discredit that was coming at her with a little heat.
It could have ended the inning. As it happens, 2 on, 1 out for Katie Stewart. Stewart has a home run in the series. Off-speed pitch fooled her. That is the third error of the weekend for South Carolina. Error is certainly a factor in yesterday's ballgame. And now Stewart, who has 12 home runs on the year, could really tear a hole in this ballgame. It's 2-0 Texas. And time is called. You mentioned Stewart, 17 homers and 80 runs batted in last year. Mike White says she's even elevated her game since then. That seems impossible given how good she was last year, but there are absolutely no holes in her swing right now, according to Mike White.
Yeah, I mean, that's the hardest thing as a hitter, is continue to evolve and know what your weakness is and be able to no longer make it that. And I feel like, you know, when you think of just Texas and offensively and the power, you think of Reese Atwood, you think of Katie Stewart, and just that competitive dynamic that both those young ladies have together. I think both fuels them differently. But like I said, I think each player takes a little pressure off of one another and have to be the one to always step up.
They're going to appeal to the third base umpire. And Brett Higgins says no, she did not go.
I thought it was maybe a
thought it was a strike.
Called strike.
Well, it's 3-1 to Katie Stewart. 2 runs in, 2-run homer by Caden Henry here in the inning. That's outside, walk, and the bases are loaded for Viv Martinez, who already has a double here today.
And in these types of moments, Clay, for pitchers, this is where you have to be extra gritty, right? Yeah, you had a play that the shortstop could have made. Should you have potentially got out of that inning? Yes. And those are the times you got to dig a little deeper in the circle to be able to step up and make big pitches. And right now, it almost kind of looks like Neely Lamb is almost trying to be too fine. And it's not a grip it and rip it mentality where we're just trying to throw it down the heart of the plate, but I think you need to be more in check with that piece, because at the end of the day, when it comes to pitching, like sometimes you take on the responsibility of those errors, right? Where it's like, hey, I know that Anderson didn't mean to mess up that ball, and it's an error. I'm going to look her in the eye and be like, hey, I got you. I'm going to pick you up. And you almost use that as fuel to your next pitch to be able to have your teammates back in those kind of moments where you feel like you're in the trenches. But that walk to Stewart now puts just kind of that true leader in Vivi Martinez up in a big situation with 1 down.
So Ashley Woodard out for a few words with Neely Lamb. She was known as Ashley Chastain when she pitched here for South Carolina back in the day. Second year as head coach. Did some wonderful things in year 1, getting within an out of the Women's College World Series. And you mentioned it at the top of the broadcast. We are a long way from, you know, May and,
yes,
you know, talking about the NCAA tournament field. But, you know, opening weekend can go a long way to letting you know how the season's going to play.
And I think it gives you some feel-good stuff, too. Like I said, the importance for South Carolina to try to snipe a win away from number 3 seed in the nation is huge. But on the flip side, for Texas, it's like, hey, when I smell blood in the water, like, I have to attack. And that's kind of the feeling you get right now. Like, there is no mercy when it comes to this game, when it comes to conference play. Like, my mentality crossing those lines, like, how bad can I beat you? And if the opportunity's there, because it's not always where you're going to get a bases loaded 1-out situation, but that competitor just needs to absolutely come out, especially week 1. I want to set the tone for how I want SEC play to go, and I think that it's important.
It's outside to Martinez. 2-2 the count. The goal is to host a regional again for South Carolina, but they were inconsistent in non-conference play, so that means they know they're going to have to be impressive in league play to impress the tournament committee. Ground ball to second. They're going to come home for the force. That's all they're going to get. But Carly Shelton, one of the smarter players on the field today, knows exactly where to go with it for their second out.
Well, in defense, fully pulled in, and if it's going anywhere, you want it to go to Carly Shelton, the dog of the team, the one that is just like, pressure, bring it on, I'm ready. And great job of just making the routine play, right? There's a different element of pressure with bases loaded, defense in, to be able to step up and make those plays.
Here's Hannah Wells now trying to help herself. Walked in the second inning and was stranded. 4 homers, 14 runs batted in for the freshman. Bases loaded, 2 outs. 2-0 Texas, going for the sweep today. This team has been so dominant. 11 run rule wins, including 4 in a row at the Longhorn Invitational. Only loss February 7th. 8-5 setback to Nebraska at the UTSA Invitational in San Antonio. It's been a minute since this team has tasted defeat. Soft liner, right center, tough play, running catch, Tori Ensley, and Texas will leave them loaded here in the 3rd inning. But a 2-run homer by Caden Henry. It's 2-0 Texas. The Texas Longhorns comes off the bat of Caden Henry in the 3rd inning, and it's 2-0 Horns as South Carolina comes to the plate in the bottom of the 3rd. Here's our game summary, and we've seen good pitching again here today from Texas, but you know, second home run, and we know that this is a great offensive team. 5 players hitting .400 coming into the day.
Yeah, I mean, you know that with Texas, though. I mean, you do your homework on them pretty quick. It's a team that knows how to score. I don't think they've actually scored enough runs over the course of the last couple days, right? So, like, if I'm South Carolina, like, that is something that I'm knowing going into game 3. Like, our pitching has been able to keep us in ball games. It's on the flip side. Like, offensively, how can we find ways to make adjustments? You can't say that South Carolina has not had opportunities over the course of the last couple days. They have, but it's just someone being able to step up in a big situation and get something going.
Hannah Wells has given up just 1 hit. This might be a hit. We'll see how they rule it. Lexi Winters hits a screamer to 3rd off of J.C. Nichols into foul ground. And so a leadoff base runner here in the 3rd inning for the Gamecocks.
Well, this is a good job by Lexi Winter. She turns on this pitch, and this almost has like this extra carry going towards 3rd base, which can be hard to read as a 3rd baseman. And that was a hot shot off the bat. I'm not sure if they're going to call it. I think they called it a hit.
Yes, they did.
And I think that they should have. That was a bullet to the left side.
Lexi Winters is aboard, one of the senior captains, and one of the 6 South Carolina natives on this roster. Let's see if that can be the spark the Gamecocks need. Kai Byers is in the lineup here in the 9 spot today. She was a pinch runner on Friday, did not play yesterday. Coach Woodard wanted to get another left-handed bat in the lineup, so effectively, you have 3 lefties in a row, 9, 1, and 2 for South Carolina today.
Well, and I think they thought Tegan Cavan was going to be the one that was starting. That was the thought process behind that, right? Knowing at times that I would rather put a left-handed hitter on the chalk to go away with a pitch than a righty on the plate that's going to be getting eaten up on the inner part, right? We know that Tegan Cavan has a lot of success against those right-handed hitters with her, that up and in rise ball that she throws so well.
How good has Tegan Cavan been in this series? A win on Friday, got the save yesterday. We were talking to Coach Woodard, about the approach, knowing that they were going to see her maybe in all 3 games, and that still could be the case. They tried to beef up the pitching machine this week to simulate what Cavan throws, but there's nothing like seeing her in person.
No, I mean, hitters have all the answers to the test, Clay, if you want me to just throw that out there. Like, they faced the machine. They had a whole week of practice. They didn't have any midweek games. I mean, they are on the machine getting hundreds of reps off of exact speed and spin.
This is going to be the first out as Maloney puts it away. Kai Byers is retired.
But I do not disagree with you in the sense where it's for sure a different feeling when you step in the box and feel something other than on a machine, right? There's just different elements that go on in a game and nuances and pressures and things where you have to step up, but you definitely feel a little bit more comfortable in the box knowing I've faced 70 on the hands with upspin instead of watching it on a camcorder back in the day and then just having to step in the box and execute.
I like that camcorder.
Yeah, we're becoming a vintage player.
We're aging ourselves.
What is going on?
Danielle. Here's Quincy Lilio. Q 0 for 1, lined out to center first time up. She has been the Gamecocks leadoff hitter the last 2 years and a darn good one. Lexi Winters at first with a leadoff infield single. It's going to float outside. 2 balls and a strike to Lilio. Carly Shelton on deck. Now, this is the part of the order where South Carolina could change the tenor of this game in a hurry.
I agree. I think being able to turn it back up top, you got that runner on first with just Lilio, and her experience is huge.
Tried to slap it. Here's the throw down to second, and the throw in time. Got it. Reese Atwood throws it down to second base to gun down Winters 2 away.
Well, and to me, the most clutch thing about this is Vivi Martinez's ability to be able to get the pick, right? Like, it just hops in front of the base. She's able to glove it, go for the tag, the smooth criminal tag. Like, that to me is what makes those plays look so swaggy, is when you're able to have someone step up in a situation and be able to pick it so smooth. So Vivi Martinez, man, it must feel so good for Texas to have her back in that shortstop position. The leadership that she brings from the experience of last year, of the heartbreak that she felt, to now finally getting to come back. There's something different about when the game feels like it's pulled out from under you, and then you get the opportunity to go back and do it again.
So Lilio walks. And Shelton, who's 1 for 1, comes up, riding an 8-game hitting streak after that base hit in the first. Out to a terrific start here in 2026. That's going to get to the screen. The throw almost got Lilio. What an arm by Reese Atwood, playing that carom perfectly off the backstop. I mean, this is not her home ballpark, and she knew exactly where that was coming from.
Well, and this was a unique kind of wild pitch with a good, she got it back quickly, so she was able to throw a dart down to 2. That was definitely a lot quicker than I thought, with it going kind of airmailed over her head there.
Yeah, Patty Ruth Taylor is going to take a walk out to the circle, Texas pitching coach. We were talking about Tegan Cavan. They came to Texas at the same time, and that partnership, the pitching coach and the ace, has been outstanding. Now she's trying to pass on some wisdom here to the freshman, Hannah Wells.
Well, and that's kind of like the one thing too you think about, like, yeah, every team tends to have a little bit of an ace, but everyone has to work together to go where they're trying to go, especially when you think of the gauntlet of what the SEC is. And at times, I feel like you're seeing a lot more teams utilize aces in different situations. We've seen Tegan Gavon start some games, potentially a middle reliever. We've seen her come in and just drop the hammer and be the closer. And you can say the same thing with Carlin Pickens at Tennessee. And I think putting pitchers in different situations only gives them more confidence when you are heading into kind of that postseason type feel that you don't know where you're going to have to potentially put someone. So are they ready to step up?
We're going to talk to Mike White next half inning. South Carolina is a runner in scoring position for the first time today. Shelton takes a strike to make it 3-1. Ariana Rhodey is on deck for the Gamecocks. She would love to get a chance with 2 on here. Now Wells battles back to fill out the count at 3-2. Ground ball to third. J.C. Nichols gets another chance. And that ends the inning. Mike White's defending national champs have a 2-run lead. We'll talk to the bench boss next. I think 2-0 Texas here in Columbia as we bring in Mike White in his 8th year as head coach of the Longhorns. Coach, runs have been hard to come by for both teams in this series. It had to make you feel good when Caden Henry drove that one out to center field last inning. What makes her so good? I know you really like your electric center fielder.
Yeah, she's got a unusual power for her size, and just a quick bat and a lot of arm length, and be able to put the ball in play with some authority.
Coach, I like Hannah Wells getting the start. A freshman, her first SEC start. What do you feel like you're seeing from her?
Yeah, she's varying stuff around. She's got a really heavy drop ball and a nice off-speed curve rise that's got some movement to it, and so she's keeping them off balance. And just like their pitching staff is doing, they've got a really varied pitching staff, so it's good to get something different in there.
All right, Mike, thank you very much for your time. Good luck the rest of the way today.
Thank you. Welcome.
Mike White, after 2 national runner-up finishes in 3 years, finally got that coveted national title last year, a weight lifted, but this guy is a competitor. He wants to repeat. He's not going to say that out loud. They don't talk about repeat on the 40 acres, but you know that's in the back of their mind.
Well, I mean, because they're always getting everyone's best because they did win that national championship. And that was one of the first questions I asked him. Like, hey, like Tegan Gavon, and like there's a different pressure with winning a championship. How do you handle that? And I mean, his thing was like, not that we're trying to repeat, but like I'm putting it in their hands, like just continue to try to keep getting better. And I know that this is a team that reads a lot. They read The Twin Thieves last year, which is a great leadership book, and I actually just finished that book on audiobook. It was incredible. And now they're reading The Bullfrog, and they just tap into these type leadership things that definitely talks about pressure.
And his line foul off the bat of Nichols.
But he said it even on the call, like the pressure is a privilege, and it really is. I would rather get everyone's best on any given day, because you know why? That's going to make me that much better. I don't want your worst. I want you to absolutely come at me so I can sharpen my game to know that when it matters, I'm going to be able to step up because I've gone through the gauntlet.
J.C. Nichols, the third baseman, a little grounder to first. Ariana Rhodey, the Gold Glover over there, takes it over to first for the out. And Texas, we talked about it before, they're the favorites in the SEC, but stiff competition again this year, including LSU and Tennessee. You're going to see those 2 teams in Game 3 of that series. Tennessee on a 22-game heater. Missouri and Florida also later this afternoon.
How far can they go? How far can they go? Are they going to go undefeated? I don't think so. SEC's too tough.
I would say that for sure. Nice diving effort there by Tate Davis. As Maloney puts it into foul ground. Going undefeated in anything, you can attest to this. It's just so hard. And you talked about getting team's best shot when you're the defending national champs. Same thing goes for winning streaks. Yeah, there's more pressure in this game than ever because there's just more eyes on this game than ever. It's continuing to grow every year, a little bit more, a little bit more. Don't even get me going on the transfer portal and the NIL and the pressures that come with that, right? Like, I mean, when I think of someone that feels the most, I think of Nigeri Kennedy at Texas Tech, the $1 million arm. Like, those are all things that you feel, but can you go and perform and take that piece out of the equation? Back to the circle, Neely Lamb, strong arm. Wow. Whips it over to first, and Maloney is retired. So here comes Caden Henry. This is what she did her last time up. We were talking about it with Mike White. This was a screamer to center field.
I mean, laser show, dead center. But I can respect the fear factor up top, right? When your leadoff hitter can go yard, she can drop the bunt, she has the speed to get up the line real quick. Like, kind of makes you a little uneasy on defense.
That was her third home run of the year. Usually when you're talking about Henry, stolen bases come into the conversation. That hasn't really been the talk this weekend. She's affected this series in other ways. And she is the stolen base leader in the conference.
And she had got thrown out yesterday, but they reviewed it, and there wasn't enough evidence to overturn the call. But I do think the umpire was in the way. I thought she was safe.
There was a shadow of doubt in your mind.
I mean, when you're 14 for 14, you know, you'd assume you're probably going to be 15 for 15, but Lexi Winters got her.
2 balls and a strike, 2 outs here, top of the 4th. Texas trying to extend the winning streak to 20. Chopper again. Neely Lamb trying to flip it over on the transfer. And I think she was rushed because she knew Caden Henry was charging down the line.
She for sure was rushed. This is pressure right here. Pressure on the defense. She has it in her glove, but it's just not able to like get it over to where she needs to because she knows that she is just speeding up the line. And that's what makes those types of hitters at times so dangerous, right? In the moment as a pitcher, it's like, hey, I got the ball. I just need to 1-2 walk through. You feel it a little bit deeper, and those little defensive miscues at times I feel like has hurt South Carolina over the course of the last couple games.
It's not going to be an error, but it feels like it is. It's an infield hit for Henry. 4th hit for Texas. And now Leanne Good at the plate. Good has been on twice with walks.
I feel like I'm going to go E1 in my scorebook.
Yeah.
Sorry. I mean, if she would have just tossed it over, she would have been easy out at first.
Now with 2 outs and the speed of Henry, do you take a chance here to move her?
I do. I mean, you do have Carly Shelton, who is very much more pinched towards second base, so it makes it a little bit trickier. Maybe can get a good look here. Like, she's very much towards the base, right? Which, so I don't know based on her positioning if they would.
Just missed. 3rd time today Leanne Good has received a free pass. And after Lamb got the first 2 outs relatively quickly, now all of a sudden she has 2 Longhorns on base behind her. And Kaya Altmaier, the number 3 hitter, coming to the plate. Ashley Chastain Woodard, the South Carolina head coach, will chat with her next inning. She is hoping that this is still a 2-0 ball game when we do talk to her.
Well, and it's at times, listen, the little hiccups make the big difference in the moment, right? If you glove that ball up, you get Caden Henry out at first base, you aren't in this situation at all. But because the pressure of that and that situation, and then you go and it's just, I think a couple of the pitches were a little bit closer over the plate and she didn't get the right call, but then now you walked Leanne Good. And now there just feels like there's a lot more trouble here, but it could have been eliminated if you just were able to make that little defensive play, right? But it's how the game works. That pressure sometimes that just these hitters can put on you, especially for pitchers, you know, with PFPs. At times it's sometimes a little more unfamiliar than it would be if it's going somewhere else in the infield.
Ball and no strikes to Kaya Altmaier. Reached in a fielder's choice in the first, flew out in the 3rd. I think you have some sway around here, Danielle, because the official score has changed it. I don't know if
they heard me.
They were listening to you. Perhaps they were.
That's
but
what it was.
It's been changed now, officially E1. So Henry has a hit taken away. This one is hit well to center, going back and over the glove of Tori Ensley. That's going to score 1. And they get it back in on the infield. Henry with the speed scores from second on the base hit by Kaya Altmaier. An RBI double to make it 3-0.
Wow, and this is just easy work. It's a pitch that's over the heart of the plate, and she's just so powerful, right? Like kind of left center all the way. And those are just the little things I'm saying, Clay. Sometimes the hiccups in the game, a team smells blood in the water, they make you pay, and that's the situation that happened with Kaden Henry getting on first base, and they find a way to keep going and keep going.
17th run batted in for Altmaier, the former Arizona Wildcat, and now here's Atwood. Atwood with her 64 career home runs, 9 on this campaign. There's a couple of ducks on the pond here in a 3-0 game in the fourth.
When you could say this for, I think, South Carolina, the struggle has been just more so falling behind in counts, right? Like, we're always playing catch up here, and if you're constantly playing from behind, you have to throw a pitch that's a little more meatier. And I also know too, like, you see some of these hitters. We've seen Reese Atwood, we've seen Katie Stewart take daddy hacks on 3-0 counts because they know pitchers have to bring the ball back in and around the strike zone. So they are going to be making a pitching change, and I think it's important to do so. 2-0, I mean, you're putting a different type of pressure on Jory Hurd bringing her in, but nobody better than the senior.
That's going to do it for Neely Lamb for now. Jory Hurd, the ace for the Gamecocks. We'll talk about her next. Well, Neely Lamb is out after an inning and 2/3. That error of hers, which could have ended the fourth inning without any damage done, costly now, as this mistake ends up leading to a run here in the fourth. 3-0 Texas now. So now South Carolina is going to turn to their ace, Jory Hurd. She's been the pitcher of record in the first 2 games, took 2 losses despite allowing just 2 earned runs in 11 innings this weekend.
I think that she really has thrown fabulous. She's thrown great pitches, has had good command of her stuff. I mean, her numbers don't lie. I think she's definitely coming into a little bit of a pressure cooker here with 2-0 against Reese Atwood and a couple ducks on the pond.
2-0 pitch, back up the box, base hit. 2 runs will score as Atwood delivers for Texas. Her first hit of the weekend, it's a big one.
Well, and no doubt, right? Like, you're 2-0, new pitcher. You know Jory Hurd is going to bring you something. She doesn't want to go 3-0. This is a pitch on the outside curveball, outside part of the plate. And she's ready for it. And she absolutely laces it and continues to get more momentum here for Texas. But I like that swing approach. I feel like I would do the same thing. New pitcher coming in. It's a 2-0 count. She's going to find a way to bring something in and around my wheelhouse.
So Katie Bennett is going to come in to run at first base for Atwood. Atwood snapping an 0-for-9 slump. And it's 5-0 Longhorns as they try to win game number 20 in a row. Katie Stewart has had a nice series. Hit her 12th home run on Friday. 0-for-1 with a walk today. Ground ball, base hit. Katie Stewart, her first hit of the ball game. Stopping at second is Bennett. First and second, still 2 outs. Boy, remember, Neely Lamb got the bottom of the order. J.C. Nichols and Ashton Maloney quickly 2 away. But since the top of the order, it's just been mistake after hit after hit.
Momentum.
And momentum has just swelled up against South Carolina here in the fourth. And now another pinch runner here. I believe Mike White is going to make a change here. I think Viviana Martinez was going to hit, and now he's going to send Alyssa Sneed to the plate, it appears. Mike White had to replace his associate head coach Steve Singleton, now the new head coach at Cal. He brought in veteran coach Aaron Earlywine to help run the offense. And they are going with a pinch hitter here, Alyssa Sneed, a freshman.
Talking about an electric freshman class when you think about Texas and some of these young women that have been able to come in. Alyssa Sneed, one of them, Hannah Wells, Matea Lawson. Like, there is some big power.
Is that going to stay in play? It will. Tate Davis bangs into the camera well. And finally, South Carolina gets off the field, but 3 runs score in the 4th. It's 5-0 Horns.
What? Who's saying oh no?
I don't depart until 8:05 now.
Coach, thank you for hopping on with us.
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yes,
I can
we
hear
can.
you.
Ashley Woodard, the head coach for the Gamecocks in her 2nd year. Coach, it's 2 years in a row that you've had to start SEC play with the defending national champs. It was a trip to Oklahoma last year. Couple of losses so far, and you're behind in this game, but still a lot of game left, and you've got the best part of your order coming up here in the 4th inning. What needs to change against Wells?
Yeah, I mean, we've got a lot of outs to work with. We just haven't been able to string anything together. So if I think we get some momentum and score a couple runs, it'll make us feel a lot better in the dugout than the last defensive inning that we had. But we haven't played great defense in this game, which has been a little uncharacteristic of us to this point. So we've given them a few extra outs to work with, and in the league that's really hard to do and win. So we need to clean it up on the defensive side, and then just keep believing in what we're doing offensively, and just try to get a little wind in our sails because we haven't had that recently.
Coach, and I think lastly, the conversations that you're having with your pitchers, especially when they're coming in, day 3 sometimes can be a little bit more of a grind facing the same offense again. So conversations with them?
Yeah, the 3rd game is the toughest of the series.
Yeah.
So just trying to keep in a good space and keeping trying to attack the hitters different ways and keeping them in a belief that we have a lot of different tools to get them out. So we've been having a lot of those conversations, and up until that last inning, I think that they've done a really good job on the series.
Yeah.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, guys.
Head coach Ashley Woodard.
And I agree. I do. I think that they have thrown really well. I think when you chalk up defensive miscues, they end up making the biggest difference, especially when you start to get into conference play, especially when you get into postseason. If you mess up defensively, a team makes you pay, and that's what you've seen today. I think when I really look at the body of work the last couple of days for Jory Hurd and Neely Lamb, they've kept them in the ball game to win for sure.
Inside out swing. That's a good start for South Carolina, as Rhodey has her first bingo of the weekend. Didn't get all of it for sure, but a good piece of hitting on the inside part of the bat. Pushes it into right field, and South Carolina is in business here in the 4th. That snaps an 0 for 10 slide for Rhodey at the plate. And South Carolina is going to send out Ansley Bennett to run at first base again.
This to me has to be just a chip away mentality and finding a way to continue to keep passing the bat, peppering, getting a hit, and passing it on to someone else to try to get some momentum back here for South Carolina.
Just their third hit. Here's the cleanup bat, Tori Ensley, 0 for 1 with a ground out. Ensley, the transfer from NC State, started all 54 games in the outfield for the Wolfpack last year. We were talking with Coach Woodard about Ensley. Said she kind of reminds her of a right-handed Quincy Lelio at the plate. The way that she approaches her at bats. That's in. Ball and a strike.
When I think of Lelio, I think of how force field-esque she is when she steps in the box. It's almost like she just has such a good eye. Pitchers at times don't tend to like really go right at her. But there is a little bit of that presence at times when you can step into the box and be patient enough to really wait for your pitch and not swing at anything. And realistically, until you get to kind of 0-2 outside your comfort zone, force a pitcher to have to bring something your way.
Hannah Wells, no runs allowed, 3 hits. Has a 5-run cushion now. Oh, that's fouled, and Reese Atwood almost was able to make the catch there.
I thought for a second that had fouled off of her right hand.
Yeah, I thought so too. And you can see the home plate umpire, Donald Brown, giving her just a little time to recover if that indeed is the case. It looks like Atwood's all right. Inside, walked her. Base hit and a walk here to start the 4th. South Carolina trying to dig out of this hole. Don't miss the final gymnastics meet on tonight's SEC schedule. Could be the best one of the weekend, too. Number 2 LSU, number 4 Florida at the O'Connell Center. Coverage starts at 6 Eastern, right here on the SEC Network. Great to have SEC softball back. Alongside Danielle Laurie, I'm Clay Matvick here in Columbia, South Carolina. 5-0 Texas. Trying to sweep this series. And South Carolina has something cooking here in the 4th inning with Tate Davis at the plate.
And if I'm South Carolina, like I got to get up for this. I have to try to get really excited about this. I want to score a run here, right? Like the importance, I think, of trying to really get back in the ball game. I don't want to see Tegan Kavan if I don't have to. So we can try to find a way to like really attack Hannah Wells and try to get in her head. It's realistically the 2nd time right now through the order for this team to see the adjustments that maybe they've made off of her, and an opportunity here to try to crack something open.
And on the hands, pulled foul for Davis, who struck out against Wells her first time up. Davis has more doubles than homers right now. 8 doubles, 3 home runs, but we were talking with Ashley Woodard about her approach at the plate, and she thinks that that's going to flip here soon. That the power is going to start to manifest itself. And this one is hit on the screws right to the third baseman, Nichols, for the first out.
Well, and this is just, you have to tip your cap if you're Tate Davis, right? Like just this is a laser to the left side and Nichols in the perfect spot. It's a good piece.
1 out, and here's Alyssa Hoverman. Florida Gators transfer. Swings at the first pitch. Could be 2, and it is. Texas Oh, that's going to make Mike White smile. He's looking for this Horns defense to start shoring up. And boy, that's a good sign.
Well, and this is the second double play of the day. This one being a 6-4-3. This is all Hannah Wells needs. Having my back.
Has been outstanding as they're going to try and sweep the series from LSU.
Yeah, the Leach sisters yesterday had back-to-back home runs. That was impressive to see. You have them in a couple weeks. We'll see if they're still undefeated. Matt Vick Law, or we'll see.
We'll see. I'm pretty sure they don't care who is calling the game. But KG Favors, is now in the circle for South Carolina. Freshman out of Orange Beach, Alabama. Emma Friedel started the game for the Gamecocks. Neely Lamb in relief. Jory Hurd as well. And now Favors. Texas last inning with 2 outs went 3 for 5, scored 3 runs. There was a South Carolina error in there that prolonged the inning. And now it's 5-0 Texas as they hit here in the 5th. It's Hannah Wells to lead it off. Longhorns also going for their 20th win today. Tennessee has that long winning streak. Texas, of course, riding a 19-game streak into Game 3 today. If they get to 20 here, Danielle, that will tie the second longest winning streak in program history.
Wow.
The record is 24 games. And Texas will host East Texas A&M on Wednesday. And that will be before Ole Miss comes to Austin for 3 next weekend. And so it's a possibility that the Rebels could be the victims of a new record at Texas.
We shall see.
Boy, this is scorched into left field. I can see why they like Hannah Wells in the circle at the plate. She's a great athlete.
Well, and just kind of one of those two-way players at times that we don't see enough of in our game. I think at times that pitchers are cut short in the travel ball scene where they're kind of just peel only and pushed to the side in that sense. But I'm like, if you are a damn good athlete, I feel like you should be able to head into the college game and do both things great. And you're seeing that a lot more in our game, I will say, like Jordy Fromm with Nebraska, former Jordy Ball. You're seeing that with Nigeri Kennedy. Huge reason as to why she went to Texas Tech was to want to tap into that two-way player.
And so Dia Wallace over there at first base, pinch running for Wells. Since coming from Oregon, Mike White has had Texas in the Supers every year and in the Women's College World Series 3 times. He has changed the feel of that program in a short amount of time, really less than a decade.
When I remember having them a ton in the postseason when he was coaching at Oregon. And that was like the Sheridan Hawkins, the Jenna Lilly days, like back in the day where there was times where I was like, man, I think Oregon has a chance to go and fight and win a national championship. And then they would get to Oklahoma City and they'd be 2-Q right away. And then when he got this opportunity to coach at Texas, we had asked him if he felt that sense of pressure. And he said he didn't feel it his first couple of years. Like Texas didn't feel that sense of like you're supposed to win a national championship yet. And he's kind of helped build them into that piece, which you probably feel it a little more this year.
Matea Lawson, pinch hitter for Texas. Hitting in Nichols' spot in the 8-hole. Did not play yesterday, went 0 for 3 Friday. Hard-hitting freshman from outside of Chicago. And when we were talking to Mike White, he said, I hate throwing batting practice to Lawson because she's nearly hurt me a couple of times on some comebackers. That's off the plate, 2-2.
And I was asking Mike White if he's the only one that throws BP. I'm like, when are you going to get Aaron Earlywine in the mix? Start getting
else.
Patty Ruth Taylor, give him some lessons so you don't have to be kind of the lone wolf out there having to throw all the time.
I think he likes it. I think he enjoys it.
Probably keeps him in shape a little bit too.
2-2, fouled straight back.
Texas Heat BP. It gets cooking in Texas in March, April. He asked if I wanted to throw today. I said, you know, I'm hung him up. Don't need to come out of retirement. See Aaron Earlywine, he had mentioned that he's in the dugout, kind of constantly in communication with the hitters.
Another guy with Women's College World Series experience.
He went to the World Series back when I went with Washington. That was the Chelsea Thomas days of Missouri. That was when Missouri went to UCLA and stunned them in the Supers to punch their ticket to Oklahoma City.
Pitches outside, runner goes, throw is...
4-pitch walk.
No, he did. Yep, you're right.
Fooled me.
Yep, Lawson draws the walk. You know, it is the first game of the season for me, so give me some time here. Get my bearings back. 2 on, nobody out. And that'll bring up Maloney as KG Favors gives up a free pass. And we're going to get another pinch runner here for Texas, as Nichols is going to come back and run in her spot for Lawson.
Well, something too you need to think about here, right? It being the 5th inning, you got runners on 1st and 2nd. Like, they're a home run away from a run ruling and only giving South Carolina 3 more outs to toy with. Like, those are the little things I know you don't want to think about, but it's there now with the bottom half of the lineup. Maloney, and now turning it back over to Caden Henry, who has a 2-run home run already on the day. So it's just needing to kind of think of those things if you're South Carolina.
Maloney bunts. Good one, too. Throw to first. In time. Got it. Good play by a charging Tate Davis. The South Carolina third baseman didn't have a ton of time. And there's 1 out as Wallace moves up, and so does Nichols.
This is so good. It's a great bunt by Maloney, but an even better play by Tate Davis on the run. Momentum on the right leg, money throw. A lot has to go right for that play to be executed, and she did it.
Productive out for Maloney. I mean, that's exactly what she wanted to do, was advance the runners, but she almost got a hit out of it because of where she put it and how well she runs. But Tate Davis was equal to the task as Caden Henry comes up. She's been on base twice, has a 2-run homer. That came back in the 3rd. Reached on an error and scored in the 4th inning.
When you think about this South Carolina team, you think about just the pressure cooker of the series they went in last year against Oklahoma right out of the gate, right? They #1 seed. Obviously, they were 20-0, so the resume was a little different. But what I will say is, yeah, they dropped all 3 games to Oklahoma, but look at how they were able to kind of go through the gauntlet of the SEC and put themselves in a position to host.
Just foul.
I think at times there's been some losses that have maybe hurt them to put them in that position to host a regional or a super this year. I'm not saying it can't be done, but it's going to take an absolute grind.
Yeah, and I think it was by design. Ashley beefed up the non-conference schedule intentionally, hoping it would pay dividends, but you know, you get some 1-run losses in there, and you know, it kind of turns the other way on you. And that's what makes the SEC schedule so important for South Carolina.
Well, and that really has been the difference maker. They haven't been absolute blowout games. They're close. It's a play. It's a defense issue. It's something so small, but we also know if we want the big thing at the end, we want to go to Oklahoma City, the small things are the things that end up hurting you. So it's being able to shore up that piece, right? And something Coach Chastain Woodard mentioned with heading into SEC play, like, we're done that learning piece, right? That's what preseason is for. Like, now for SEC play, it's time for us to just go in and get after it, play free.
Favors 3-2 pitch. Grounder to first. Rhodey has the runner hung up. Running right back at her. Wallace in a rundown, and they tag her out. Davis finally gets to Wallace for the 2nd out. That's good defense. Defense in the 4th inning was a problem spot for South Carolina, but that play gets out number 2.
I think this is just, I do. I think this is a really good job by Rhodey. Do I think she maybe could have tagged Caden Henry? Caden Henry, excuse me, I do. But I also think, like, Wallace on third base, giving her teammate that little extra to be able to get to first. And you see Caden Henry makes her way all the way to 2nd base. So it's almost like Hunger Games style. She sacrificed herself so her teammate could get all the way over to 2, but I thought there could have been a second for Ariana Rode as she was running up the line, because you know Caden Henry can't step backwards, to tag her and then potentially go and force Wallace to go back to 3rd.
So Nichols at 3rd, Henry at 2nd, and this is Leanne Good. She's been on base 3 times, all via the walk.
The one thing too that I love is, like, Rode last year, like Gold Glove winner, like her defense over the years has just continued to get so much better. Like, when I think of what sharpens this infield, it's the right side. It's having Rode at first. It's having Carly Shelton at second base, that leadership.
Four home runs on the year for Good. This is her first career 3-walk game. She could put that run rule in effect with a big fly here in the 5th inning. Favors pitch. Ground ball to second. Shelton to first, ends the inning. So Texas leaves 2. It stays 5-0 here in the 5th inning.
Yeah, there's a lot of good ones that make you crack up. I still remember Beth Torina lying on the ground for LSU.
We're wearing mics here up in the booth. Clay Matvick, Daniel Laurie. Glad to be here on the SEC Network, opening weekend of conference play. It's been all Texas in the series, winning the first 2 games, going for the sweep today, leading 5-0 in the bottom of the 5th. South Carolina trying to avoid its second 3-game losing streak of the year. Shea Anderson leading it off, followed by Lexi Winters and Kai Byers, 7, 8, and 9. Against Hannah Wells, who has pitched brilliantly. Her season high this year is 5 innings. And the way she has thrown so far, she could go beyond that.
You can't say that South Carolina has not had opportunities, right? I mean, 4 double plays that they've rolled themselves into over the course of this series, and that hurts you. That's athletes on the base pass, that's momentum, and then all of a sudden Texas has shut the door 4 times on that, which can be felt pretty deeply sometimes when you're trying to string stuff together. And that's really, we've seen 2 of them today, and the defense is something Coach Mike White said that he really wants to try to continue to keep sharpening up. They've showed up today.
3 balls and a strike to the Gamecocks shortstop, way out in front on that one. Anderson, a strikeout victim in the 2nd. Sophomore in her first year as a starter out of Moore Park High School in California. Just missed inside, a leadoff walk to Anderson. Third walk allowed by Wells. And so South Carolina, for the 3rd inning in a row, has the leadoff hitter aboard. Now we'll see if the Gamecocks can do something with it. Here's Winters. She had an infield single to start the 3rd inning her last time up.
I've liked Lexi Winters at bats. It's an opportunity here for, I don't know why the score feels like it's way bigger than it is.
Ground ball back to the circle. Wells spins, fires, got one. Pulled the first baseman Stewart off the bag a bit. I don't know if they would have got her anyway. They get Anderson on the force, 1 down.
But this is a good job by Wells in the circle. Originally, she sets her feet to go 1 and then realizes that she hears her teammate in the back and Leanne Good, and she just throws a dart over to second on the money in the chest. Like, those are all the little things with PFPs that help add up into kind of rolling double plays, all the things. So that's a good job by her to get that lead out, because you can very much stay with a 5-0 lead. I don't care about that run at second base, right? But when you continue to keep doing the little things right, going for those lead outs, like, that's all putting that memory into your mental piggy bank. So it's like, hey, I can make that play under pressure. I know how to do it.
Byers 0 for 1 with a flyout. Timely hits has been the problem throughout the weekend for South Carolina. Now 0 for 7 today with runners on base. Kai Byers started the year in right field, dealt with an illness, has been more of a bench player here in recent weeks, getting the start today again in right field. One of the 4 freshmen that the Gamecocks brought in this year. One out, 5-0 Texas here in the Carolina 5th. Back off of Wells. This is going to be a double play. What a break. Karam's off of the knee of Wells to the shortstop Martinez. Another double play.
That's 5. And you never want to take in an expense to your pitcher getting absolutely nailed. But unfortunately, the little ricochet. Martinez to good to Stewart. All righty.
BC softball presented by Regions Bank. Clay Matvick and Danielle Laurie enjoying game 3 of this series. And in the 4th inning, leading 2-0, Texas took this game over and South Carolina didn't help itself.
Yeah, just the little hiccups on the defense stuff. Texas found a way to just take full advantage. And that's what great teams do. If you're going to give them an inch, they're going to take a mile. And they continued the momentum in that 4th inning, putting up a 3 spot. I think that was huge for them. And then on the flip side, Hannah Wells, I mean, has been throwing really well. It comes down to the defense. But you're looking at those first 2 games, having the 10 hits, those 8 walks. But looking at today, they definitely have done some damage, getting on base, a couple extra base hits. They've been patient at the plate, 6 walks.
All of those runs in the 4th inning for Texas were unearned. As Kaya Altmaier leads it off. And pitcher number 5 of the day for the Gamecocks.
Bringing in Josie Marin. At this point, I know that Coach Chastain Woodard did make the comment when we had talked with her before this series kicked off that if you didn't see Neely Lamb or Friedel or Jory Hurd, there was a good chance there was kind of a 5-run wiggle room, whether that was for us or against us. And I think at times you don't always know how you're going to work pitchers in, especially when you kind of have those isolated 3 that tend to get majority of the innings. So with the score being what it is, I think it's about giving other pitchers an opportunity. Let's see where you're at. Are you coming in and hammering the strike zone? Are you falling behind? Like, start to figure out in maybe times of trouble, is there someone that you're able to rely on? Especially, I think Jory Hurd needed to come out of the game. I do. I think that the score was out of hand. I think that she's weathered a tough storm this weekend, has thrown really well, but her body's probably a little beat up too.
And is caught by Nia McKnight out in left field. She has come into the ball game. So Altmaier's retired, first out here of the Texas 6th. Atwood with her first hit of the series, her last time up. A 2-run single, part of that 3-run 4th. And Marin starts her with a strike. South Carolina 12-5 at home this year coming into the day. Now, again, taking care of home field so important, especially when you're trying to build a resume for the NCAA tournament and host. Again, it's not easy, though, when you host the defending national champions coming in right away opening weekend. off the end of the bat, and Rohde's going to handle that one. Gold Glover puts it away for the second out. And Texas, Danielle, took control, it seems, kind of the series right away in the first inning on Friday. Jumped out to an early lead and ended up getting the win. It was a tight game. Same thing in game two. It was a tight game, but you know, you felt like Texas has had control of this series really from the outset.
Yeah, and I think for South Carolina, I think you have to stay level-headed about this. As much as, yeah, you don't want to get swept at home, it's the first series, like, we're not where we need to be yet. That has to be the mentality. We're always continuing to try to get better, to be the best version of ourselves for when that postseason starts to roll around and you're in conference like SEC championship. Like, all of that stuff is where we want to try to sharpen ourselves up and continue to evolve as a team. And this is a fairly new team, right? I mean, you have 14 new faces that are still trying to vibe together and figure out what that really looks like. So is it better that this is the first game of SEC play, the first series? Yes. Would it be bad if it was the last? I think it would be. So it's just trying to keep the peace with that and not get down on yourself simply because you lost to the defending champs a couple games and maybe you're in the doghouse here in the last game.
You think of how close South Carolina was to getting to Oklahoma City last year. They were in and out. UCLA had that walk-off win in game two as this is lined to right field. Great adjustment out in right. And that catch is made by McKay. And it's a 1-2-3 sixth. Number 3, Texas 5-0. Horns going for the sweep, trying to extend that winning streak to 20 games in a row. And boy, what a job the freshman has done in the circle today. Hannah Wells, the pride of Coahoma, Texas, high school All-American, has made a big splash her first year in collegiate softball.
Yeah, I think she's getting her feet wet with what it's like playing in the SEC, right? I think when you're able to go a full, potentially 7 innings, not sure if they would make a change in the 7th, but everything's about kind of like giving you that sense of experience and how you can try to go through a lineup 3 times, which as a pitcher, sometimes the strike zones are a little smaller. Hitters make great adjustments off you from their first to their second to their third at bat. I think she's done a really good job of settling in and using her defense. 5 double plays, 3 double plays today that we've seen that have just been complete buzzkills. Like, any momentum that South Carolina has tried to get, like, Texas has been like, nope, not today.
Outside to Lelio, 2 balls and a strike. If you're tuning in looking for number 16 LSU and number 1 Tennessee, that has started on the ESPN app. And as soon as we're done here in Columbia, we'll get you out to Knoxville. Volunteers trying to extend their winning streak to 23. Lelio with some hair on it. Out into right field. Another leadoff base runner for South Carolina.
Well, and that's all you can ask for, especially now with the top of the lineup, Lelio getting on base. This is huge. Use this momentum if you're South Carolina. I don't know why 5-0 feels way bigger, but it just does right now with kind of how South Carolina has been playing, just simply with, you know, double play city and all the different things, but a good opportunity here for the top of the lineup to really get it going.
Shelton is 0 for 1. That base hit for Quincy, extending her hitting streak to 7 games. Just the 4th hit allowed by Wells. And she has walked 3 as well, but no runs. A couple of strikeouts. And if she can record it out here, it'll be a season high for innings pitched. She went 5 innings against UTSA back in early February.
And I know really the one kind of mission when you think about Texas and conversations with Coach Mike White, it's really like how to utilize the pitching staff, right? Like, it's not just all Tegan Kavan and it just has to be her that's throwing every single game. May she get more starts than other pitchers? Sure.
Hit toward the gap. Deep left center, reaching up, running catch, Altmaier. She can cover a lot of ground out in front of the warning track. She gets there to retire Shelton, who made a bid for extra bases.
Well, Mike White had said on our coach's call this week how good she's been in the outfield, stepping up, making some really big defensive just kind of stops out there in the outfield. That's clutch. Yet again, just momentum just pulled away from South Carolina when they're trying to get stuff going.
Yeah, you feel like they're snake bit. Just timely hitting has been a problem from the Gamecocks, so Shelton almost ran the gap there. Rhodey wrapped into a double play in the first, a single in the fourth inning. She has had a tough series. A week ago today, she hit her 50th career homer. That ranks 6th in the country among active players in career homers. South Carolina could use a shot in the arm from her bat here right now. Strike. She spent the first 2 years of her career at Charlotte, followed Coach Woodard to Columbia. She's wearing that mask on her helmet. She broke her face last year. Still, as tough as she is, missed only 2 games after that. Good play there by Atwood to keep that one from the screen. And she is a big reason that the Gamecocks got to the Supers. Without the bat of Rhodey, they don't get there.
And I love that just her from Charlotte heading over to South Carolina, like hitting in the SEC, just continuing to be that big dog. Sometimes you don't know if it's going to translate over, right? From one conference to the next. You know that the SEC is by far the toughest conference to play in with the pitchers that you're going to face. And she only got better as she did enter SEC play. So a couple more ducks on the pond here, Clay, for South Carolina.
That is the first hit today for the Gamecocks with a runner on. And it took till the 6th inning. So 2 on, 1 out, and here's the cleanup hitter, Tori Ensley. Ensley, a ground out and a walk. She's 0 for 1. Four home runs on the year for Ensley. Off-speed pitch, 63 miles an hour, and it's a ball and a strike. Just been very impressed with the freshman's command of the off-speed. Comes with the heater that time. Could be 2 again. That's safe at first as Ensley beat it out. Boy, South Carolina, just the propensity to ground up the middle with a runner on in less than 2 outs. It's unreal.
Yeah, and you're seeing at times, too, a little bit more of a pinched middle towards second base. You're seeing that with Vivi Martinez as well as Good at second base that tend to be a little bit more kind of in the right spot for what seems to be every single ball that's coming their way.
So runners at the corners now for Tate Davis. Lilio at third, Ensley at first. Davis 0 for 2, a strikeout victim in the 2nd inning. South Carolina starting to really run out of outs here. 2 outs in the 6th. Wells delivers inside. 2-1. Wells wants to get out of the inning right now. You put another runner on and bring Hovermail to the plate, who's actually swung it well this series. I mean, you are really tempting South Carolina to change the feel of this game and the series. They're trying to salvage one here on opening weekend, and that could happen with a big fly.
Like I said, at times the score has felt like it's way more than it actually is.
Off speed down the line. Good patient piece of hitting there by Davis. Just hooked it down the line. A pitch count up over 90 now for Wells, but showing really no signs of fatigue.
Well, and I think too, just that like presence that she has when she's out there from the beginning to now, like hasn't shifted. That kind of like poker face feel when there's been any momentum for South Carolina, like she's just kind of been steady, and you can appreciate that. And you have just this senior leader and Reese Atwood being able to come up and have a conversation, like definitely throwing more strikes, 50 strikes to the 41 balls. I do think she could have shored up and not fallen behind at times nearly as much as she's had.
There it goes. There'll be no throw as Inslee lopes into second base, and that's going to be a walk. They were waiting there for the call, and Davis, I think, was even a little surprised it was ball 4. So now the bases are loaded for South Carolina, and here comes Overmail.
And now seems like the time, if you are South Carolina, like just kind of takes one big swing, and it doesn't have to be a big fly. It doesn't have to be a grand salami. That's not what it's about, but find a way to get some momentum going.
It's now going to be a situation where Ashley Woodard brings in a pinch hitter. Natalie Heath has a bat, and she is going to bat here for Hovermail with the bases loaded. Boy, an interesting spot to insert a freshman. Here's Natalie Heath. Bases loaded, 2 outs. First pitch is outside.
And this, Clay, when you think about like just pressure that you feel as a pitcher, Hannah Wells being a freshman, like making it all the way to the 6th inning, facing this lineup for the 3rd time, it is a different pressure that you are feeling, and they are going to make that pitching change. I also know that there was a little bit of word of mouth of the third base coach potentially having that changeup picked, so there was maybe some conversations or certain cues to hitters of being able to have that, because you know darn well, like if one of your best pitches, your setup pitch, is being picked, you pitch different. It tends to put you in that position as a pitcher where you're worried that maybe he's going to call it, or if I throw that, is a hitter going to sit on it? So this is a good change in this moment. It doesn't take away from Hannah Wells and the day that she's been able to have. She's thrown well. She's put some good innings up in her mental piggy bank, and going to pass it on.
Career high for innings pitch for Hannah Wells. And now Cambria Salmon will come out of the Texas bullpen trying to settle things down with 2 outs and the bases loaded. I said that Heath is a freshman, indeed a senior, but this could be a real do or die moment here for South Carolina. They get something done here, it changes the feel of the game. If Salmon can do her job out of the bullpen, you feel that this might be the last best chance for South Carolina.
Well, and Salmon, too, was originally the game starter. That's who they had, and then they linked up the DP and the flex with Hannah Wells. So she'll still stay in the game, and she will hit, but now it allows for Salmon to be able to come in effortlessly and keeps Hannah Wells in the game where she's still able to hit and do her thing. So definitely a situation to come into where there's some pressure. You're 2-0, like you have to find a way. Very similar situation to we saw with Reese Atwood, who was in the batter's box when they brought in a new pitcher 2-0, and she had that big rip right out of the gate, swinging first pitch. A couple more runs up on the board in the 3rd, so we'll see the approach by Heath.
Well, coming up as soon as we're finished here in Columbia, we'll take you to Knoxville, LSU, and #1 Tennessee. They are underway right now on the ESPN app. Salmon's first pitch. This is inside. Tennessee, the team that everyone is looking at right now in the SEC, but Texas was the preseason pick to win this league. And right now in really good shape to extend the winning streak for the Longhorns to 20 games. Strike. Oh, into right field, a run comes in. And South Carolina's on the board.
This was almost like a little trick shot by Reese Atwood behind the plate, just kind of throwing it over to Katie Stewart, just trying to catch a runner off guard, essentially, is what it is, but just goes a little bit kind of where the runner is, and South Carolina finds a way to get one across, can try to keep continuing that momentum.
Swing and a miss by Heath, 3-2.
I think sometimes the one thing that can help bridge the gap of the pressure you may feel as a pitcher coming in 2-0, bases loaded, we have 2 outs, and that sometimes can allow for you to take a breath, trust your defense. They've been playing great behind you.
Back up the middle. Should end the inning. Martinez throws across, and South Carolina will strand 2, but they get on the board thanks to a mistake. It's 5-1, headed to the 7th.
Softball is presented by Regions Bank, official bank of the SEC.
Clay Matvick, Danielle Laurie here, game 3 in Columbia. It's been all Texas since the 3rd inning when their 2-run homer left the yard off the bat of Caden Henry. They scored 3 times in the 4th thanks to an error, all of those runs unearned. South Carolina got a run in the 6th. It's 5-1 as Texas hits. Martinez, Wells, and Nichols the scheduled hitters. Coming up next, LSU, number 16 in the nation, number 1 Tennessee. Game is underway in Knoxville. We'll take you there as soon as we wrap this one up. A lot of ball game left as, you know, South Carolina gets one across. And now, you know, if they can do what they've done a couple of times in this ball game, and that's load the bases, anything's in play.
I think a good efficient inning here, the top 7 would be huge, right? Like for Josie Marin to be able to go out, kind of make it quick, try to keep whatever they had in the bottom of the 6th inning rolling to bottom 7.
Josie Marin came on in relief last inning for South Carolina. She is the 5th pitcher to work today for the Gamecocks. And again, it hasn't been a lot of hits for Texas. It's been timely hitting. It's been efficient production. It's also been some help that South Carolina's given along the way thanks to a few mistakes in the field. 5 runs on 7 hits. A couple of South Carolina errors to boot. Texas trying to sweep this series. Head back to Austin with a 20-game winning streak. Smash to center base now. Viv Martinez, her 2nd hit today. She had a double back in the 2nd and now a ringing single to start things in the 7th. There's a look in live in Knoxville. Game is scoreless already in the 2nd inning. We'll take you there. Matt and Madison will have the call. Shoe and Ship. We'll take it as soon as we're done here. Hannah Wells, she's in line for the win. Fly ball right field, backing off is McKay. She'll make the catch for the 1st out. Wells had a single her last time up. It's what she has done in the circle, though. Number 13 has been dynamite in the burnt orange and pinstripe today.
Yeah, and I know I said this earlier, but I can appreciate a 2-way player that just sense of being able to step in the box and help the cause, takes a little bit of pressure off what you may feel when you cross the lines and go out there and just feel like you have to pitch all the time. So hopefully this is an upward trend that we're seeing in our game, maybe a little bit more than we have over the course of the last couple years. But yeah, I mean, she's really set the tone. And when we saw her name, I didn't know how it was going to go, right? Like game 3, you want to like really just like punch South Carolina while they're down. And I just kind of had this feeling that maybe Tegan Cavan was going to be the one that started this game. But given Hannah Wells, the freshman, the nod, and I feel like she did a great job.
J.C. Nichols at the plate. Looking ahead to the South Carolina 7th, it's not ideal for the Gamecocks. 7, 8, and 9 due up. Anderson, Winters, and McKay. Ground ball. Hey, how about the Gamecocks turning a double play? Last chance for South Carolina. They need 4 to tie. Anderson will lead it off in a 5-1 game here in Columbia. Away from leaving on a roll. 3 outs away from extending the winning streak to 20 games. Henry with that 2-run homer in the top of the 3rd. That's the difference in the game, really. Texas tacked on 3 more in the 4th. 1 run across in the 6th for South Carolina. Hannah Wells. She's in line for the win. Cambria Salmon, this is not a save situation, just trying to get 3 more outs and get Texas out of town with the sweep. Shea Anderson to lead it off. Gamecock shortstop. 0 for 5 in the series with 3 walks. South Carolina will take base runners any way they can get them. Don't forget LSU and number 1 Tennessee coming up next. That game is underway on the app. There's a strike on the inside corner.
Love a good pop of the mitt from up in the press box.
What is the hardest you ever were clocked?
Well, if I could have taken my back foot off, who knows,
No.
Clay?
In a game situation.
I could 68 to 70 for sure. Like World Series, I could amp it up a little bit, but I probably cruise 66 to 68.
That's where you sit.
With a my change
you were sitting
was
at about
usually,
66,
yeah,
68.
57, 58 change.
But you got into the low 70s a time or two when you really needed it.
Yeah, but that was with my back foot on. We don't talk enough about that.
Yeah.
Come on. You see Carlin
Game's
Pickens
changed.
with her back foot off. Her back foot is almost outside the back of the circle with how long and lengthy. Think about if like Kat or Monica could have, I don't know if it would have benefited Kat because she was so spinny and she was never trying to throw it hard. But like Monica.
This is tanked to center, but Henry is there. Hit on the screws by Anderson, but right at the center fielder Henry. 1 down. Did you ever think you'd get to that point in your life where you'd say, back in my day?
No. I still feel weird saying that. Not saying that I feel like I could go out there and do it again, because I definitely don't.
You still could. I bet the Canadian Olympic team would love to have you. Lexi Winters, infield single to her credit today. Lexi Winters started all but a handful of games behind the plate last year on that run to the Super Regionals. Had a career season at the plate. 331, 53 runs batted in. It's been a slow start to the year here for the veteran from Lexington, South Carolina. I think that's the thing going forward here, Danielle, for South Carolina. They've got to find a way to get the offense. Now, they ran into a buzzsaw with this Texas pitching staff this weekend for sure, but that's got to be top of mind for Ashley Woodard and the coaching staff, is to try and find a way to generate offense, starting with Duke on Tuesday. Ground ball, good to first, and Winters is retired, and now South Carolina down to its last out.
And I think you definitely can see the top of the lineup and just the momentum at times that they're able to get with Lilio to Shelton to Rhodey. I think it's kind of the bottom half, like how are we able to like get them going? Who can kind of be a rally starter, the bottom half of the lineup? Because you can't say that there has not been a lot of opportunities for South Carolina over the course of the weekend against some great arms. They had opportunities against Tegan Cavan for sure, and they've had opportunities today and just have not been able to step up. But that's sometimes the humbling part about this game. Hitting is hard. Great pitchers tend to beat good hitters, and Byers is going to re-enter here in the 9 spot.
She flew out and wrapped into a double play. Gamecocks host Duke on Tuesday. They will be at Coastal Carolina on Wednesday. Hit toward the gap. Right center. Deep. And it is gone. Goodbye. Home run. Byers. With the first home run of the weekend for South Carolina, and the Gamecocks still have a pulse. It's now 5-2.
Gosh, that does feel good if you're Kai Byers to get that off your chest. It's an elevated pitch. I think Salmon thought, hey, that's up, but had some good carry. Was able to get out of here. I thought for a second maybe Henry was going to track it down and ran straight into the wall. Just finds a way to get over. It's clutch from the 9 spot. And I know she's been trying to work her way back in the lineup. Had got sick and had missed about a week of softball, and someone had kind of beat her to it. But swings like that, I think, can kind of start to put you back in that lineup consistently.
Second career home run for the freshman. And now back to the top of the order for South Carolina, and Texas doesn't want to play with too much fire here. Still a 3-run cushion, but Lelio, Shelton, and Rhodey here at the top of this South Carolina order, that could spell some damage. Salmon buries a strike, 1-1.
And I feel like sometimes I always revert back to the pitcher mentality of the one that's in the circle that feels the things, right? It's like, okay, hey, yeah, I just gave up a solo shot, but there's two outs up on the board, and I have a 3-run cushion. Sometimes those things get you through if there's any uneasy feelings in your tummy of like, this moment feels bigger. Sometimes to pump the brakes and give yourself the reminder of, my team's played great defense today. 3 runs it's going to take for them to get back in this ball game, and they are not doing that against me when I already have a two-out cushion to help myself out.
Slow roller could end the ball game, and it does. Nice tag at first by Stewart, and that does it. Texas wins it 5-2 here on Sunday. They sweep the series, and they have now won 20 in a row.
Yeah, Texas definitely looks good. I mean, I called the shot last year that I said this was going to be a team that could potentially win a national championship, and I'm still going to put them in the driver's seat to do it because they're the team to beat. They did it last year. On the flip side for South Carolina, I think that they're almost there. They show glimpses of it, but can they put it all together at the right time when they feel the pressure, when they're playing tough teams, playing clean defense, coming up clutch offensively? So it'll be interesting to see how that Duke game goes midweek and the rest of SEC play.
For Danielle Laurie, I'm Clay Matvick. We say so long from Columbia. Once again, our final score, Texas 5, South Carolina 2. Stay tuned. Number 16 LSU and number 1 Tennessee. Matt and Madison. Let's go to Knoxville.